I got to hide the ugly.
Woohoo! What's going on, Bay Area? It's your boy, Chewy Gomez from 102 Jams. Listen to me every day, 3 to 7, playing your best hip-hop and throwbacks. Now back to my boys, Bonte and Shasky, right here on 95.7 The Game.
Wow, we got Chewy. Man, that's Bay Area royalty right there. 102.9 The Jams. Well, not 102.9.
Isn't that 106?
No, that's KBLX. Yeah. My bad.
I did listen to a lot of 102.9 coming up.
It's KBLX. Raw station.
102.1.
102.1 is what I meant to say. Remember, we used to be in the other building with KBLX. KBLX and Q102 used to be right next to each other. So they're long gone. It's my boy Chewy, 102.1.
Shout out Chewy.
Yeah, shout out Chew Dog. Chew Dog. Big time Raider fan. Raiders got a good win last week. Good for them. By the way, YouTube, Twitch, Xfinity Mobile Text Line. Shout out to you guys. You guys are always rocking with us. Download the Odyssey app, 95.7 The Game. Thousands of other stations and millions of podcasts are free on the Odyssey app, and you can catch every single Warriors game live on the app, along with all the music and news the Bay Area needs. Alan Stiles doing a phenomenal job in place of Joe Shasky, the butcher. He has a day off, but I can guarantee one thing, Spadoni loving. Shasky's listening. Odyssey app is on. YouTube is on. He's tapping in. He knows what's going on. He suffers from big-time FOMO. Big-time FOMO. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll be back Monday, though. He'll be back for the Rice interview at 8:30. Sorry, Alan. You won't get that on the resume.
No
you
drops
won't be able
for
to
that.
name drop. You won't be able to name drop. That lead after
I'm going to ride the Steve Kerr one for a while, so I think I'm solid.
You won't be able to do that. Unless Shasta calls it sickening. Hey, Alan, you want to talk to Jerry Rice? You can name drop him all week long. Let's go to Austin in the Bay. He's got one last thought on the Golden State Warriors. Then let's shift gears to the 49ers. It's a big game Sunday. We were talking about this before the show. Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo. I want to get your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo because I've come full circle, man.
Oh, I know. I got something for you.
Do you now? Austin in the Bay. Austin, what's happening, man? You're on the roast.
No, much, just gassed up. How y'all doing this morning?
Oh, man, it's a Friday, baby. A 50-cent Friday.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, look, payday for me. Hey, this is what I got for you, this carrying and traveling, man. Hey, I remember when Allen Iverson first came into the league, when, Rock Jordan to sleep, and then then Jordan, tapped in with the referees. Hey, we got to get rid of that, man. We got to get rid of that. Y'all can't have me looking bad out here. I feel like Jordan Poole needs to tap in with Allen Iverson this offseason and put some moves together and get his weight up. He can be an Allen Iverson. Man, yeah, that's all I got. So what y'all thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool, but Allen Iverson started getting picked off, too, by the rest if you watch the Donahue doc. I just think, just play. As long as Poole just plays, he'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, I do think, though, to the caller's point, I do think that Jordan Poole, he's really close in terms of his handles.
Right.
And it could be an Allen Iverson that can put him over the top just for some finishing moves. Right. Because let's be honest.
Well, he's got Steph Curry on the roster.
He's got Steph Curry on the roster, so that obviously helped. Who, by the way, this whole Kyrie has the best handles, and it's not close. He's got better handles than AI. Steph Curry, he's underrated. I think people have come full circle on his ability to finish at the hoop.
Right.
We need to respect Steph Curry's handles because I don't think they're respected enough. And if you want to say that Kyrie has the best handles, that's fine.
Right.
But Steph, the gap is not as big as everybody wants to make it.
I mean, we're forgetting about Tim Hardaway Sr.
Right.
We're forgetting about Rod Strickland.
But that's what I've said about Kyrie. He wears his pants a little baggier, so it just reminds people of
recency
and one.
bias.
It reminds people of and one. They think he's hot sauce.
His handles are sick.
They
I'll give
are.
him
They're
that.
crazy.
They're crazy good. But like they hype him up like we've never seen it before.
Right.
I've seen people dribble like
as far as Jordan Poole is concerned, if we're being honest with ourselves, he's really got one really good move. It's the in and out dribble.
Right.
That's what he's got.
In and out is nasty.
It's nasty, but at some point you're going to have to add to your repertoire, and maybe AI could do that. But to your point, Steph, can I get in the lab with you? Can we work on some things?
And I think he is. And I think he's working on some things. I think he'll figure it out. Straight line drives, the hezzy,
and
the in and out dribble, and just go. And he'll be fine. I'm not too concerned about Jordan Poole yet. If it happens in the next 20, we'll see. But Jordan Poole should be fine moving forward. Just shot selection, the same thing we talked about with Klay Thompson. Shot selection, knowing when to go, knowing when to not over dribble, and the pacing. When he gets in trouble, he's moving too fast.
Right.
It's got to be like jazz, right? When Steph Curry's moving around and he's coming off those screens, it's like jazz music, right? It's just so smooth. Jordan Poole right now is just like, it's rock and roll. It's mumble rap.
Well, you know what it is? Sometimes with Jordan Poole, it's when you're playing beginner on Guitar Hero.
Right.
Sometimes you accidentally hit expert.
Right.
That when Jordan Poole's, I don't even know what I'm doing here, man.
Well, it sounds like me in a yoga class a couple weeks ago.
Oh, man.
They were like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and I'm trying to do the stuff level 4. Like, no. You're level 1, dude. You don't need to do all that stuff.
Nah,
and I'm
man.
like, yeah, I get it.
That was a pandemic thing for me. You know, I tried it with the wifey, and it ended in about 2 months.
In fact, by the way, shameless shout-outs. I want to hear about shameless shout-out. Shameless shout-out, 745. Shameless shout-out, 745. Line them up. I want to hear about your shout-outs. I got a couple shout-outs. I know you got some shout-outs. Spinoni has some shout-outs. Lubman always has a shout-out. Is he shouting out the Miami Hurricanes football season? Lubman's been in the fog lately, man. We got to tell you, man. Lubman, he usually come in here every break. But since the Hurricanes struggled so bad, the boy's been depressed. We got to pick him up. We need. You know what we need? You know what we need for Lubman? We need Aaron Judge. We need Aaron Judge bad.
Quick.
Fast in a hurry. This guy's going to Cal games Thanksgiving weekend.
Don't do that. That's not going to make you feel any better.
No, it's not.
I mean, by the way, Cal Stanford, what are we doing, man?
I don't know. Go ahead, Lubman. Jump in here.
I'm optimistic about the Hurricanes' future. So no, I'll be out of the fog soon, especially once Aaron Judge signs next week. So good times are ahead.
Good times are ahead. Cal basketball. I don't think they've won a game yet.
No.
What?
Jerseys look good though. Still got Jordan for now.
They haven't won a game yet.
Yeah.
Poor Cal. Stafford. All right. Back to the Niners. Big game on Sunday. Garoppolo and company taking on the Miami Dolphins. Big game. Niners 7-4. Dolphins 8-3. Levi Stadium, and a lot of people are thinking Niners have to have this one because they haven't beaten anybody. My question to you, Alan, because I know you got something for me about Jimmy Garoppolo. Which team needs this win more? We saw Buffalo last night win. They're threatening the AFC East once again, trying to win their third straight division title. Or do the Niners need this one to stay above Seattle and keep the heat on the Seahawks to make them keep pace with the 49ers?
I definitely think that the Dolphins need this game more, simply because of what you said with the Bills and just the AFC in general. It's going down in the AFC. The NFC, it's a bit of a mess. It's the battle of the mediocre, and I think that as much as Geno, I love the Geno story. I know it's Niners all day, but I love the Geno story. They wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Right. That's one of the best bars I've ever heard in my life.
That was amazing.
But I don't necessarily believe in the Seahawks down the stretch. And I think that the Niners, if they were to drop this game, it's an AFC opponent. Right. You still have the tiebreaker.
Not the worst thing in the world.
Not the worst thing in the world. And I believe the Seahawks have the Rams this weekend, so you think that's going to be a dub. Then you're going to have to face off against them anyway. So I think that the Dolphins definitely need this, and the Dolphins need this as well because they're still trying to show that they are for real. Right. I mean, if you look at who they've played in the past, I mean, the defenses that they've played in this 5-game win streak that they've had, the 25th, the 32nd, that would be the last, the 20th, the 18th, and the 29th ranked defenses in the league. And the 18th, which was the best defense, was the Browns with Jacoby Brissett. Right. So they have not really played. This is a big test for them with Tua. We know that the games that they've lost, they haven't had Tua either for the whole game or not the full game. But I think the Dolphins need this to show what they can do because I mean, it's going to get cold. I know the Bay Area, it's not going to be the coldest weather, but you're going to have to go up to Buffalo at some point. New England. Right? And you have an opportunity against the number one defense to show everyone what you can do. Tua, people still don't believe in Tua. Right. They still think it's Tyreek Hill and they're working around Tua. Both these quarterbacks, you could argue, this is an opportunity for both of them to quiet the naysayers, but I think the Dolphins need this game more.
Dude, you're looking at the Dolphins schedule: San Francisco, Chargers, Buffalo. 3 straight road games. 3 straight road games. And they played Buffalo. I believe that game was moved to a Saturday night. Then they got Green Bay at home, who, let's face it, they're a joke this year.
Chargers are getting healthy, too.
Chargers are getting healthy. That's no easy game. No easy game whatsoever. Then New England, which is never easy in New England, against that defense. And then they finish the season facing the New York Jets and that defense. So Niners defense is going to be on full display because as much as you can talk about the Dolphins playing against porous defenses, How about the Niners playing against porous offenses?
Right. I mean,
Cardinals,
that's
Colt
what
McCoy. The Rams with Stafford and Cooper Kupp and no offensive line. You think about last week in the Saints and Andy Dalton. Now, they're beating them. They're pounding these teams. But this offense is going to present challenges to this defense, and they haven't seen an offense like this probably since Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes.
This is an opportunity for both teams, and I think that as much as, you think, okay, can the Niners slow down the Dolphins enough? You also have to score. So we know about the Niners defense. The Dolphins defense is basically middle of the pack. Right. But here's the thing. The Niners secondary is basically middle of the pack. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're number 11, so a little bit better than middle of the pack, but that's because you got that front seven coming at you.
And as long as you get pressure on Tua, you will be able to thrive. And that's the key to this game. So can Bosa dominate? Mm-hmm. Can Armstead, who, by the way, may play on Sunday, he's aiming to play, can he dominate? Can Fred Warner Jr. dominate the middle of the field alongside Drake Greenlaw? That's the key. That's the key to me. Shut down the middle of the field and hit Tua over and over and over again because they're missing their top offensive lineman in Terran Armstead.
Exactly. So Niners 11th in passing yards allowed. Miami 2nd in passing yards, period. So we've been what's going to win? The good defense or the good offense? I should say great on both sides. I think it's going to come down to Kyle Shanahan and how much, and I just lead into it right now, how much he trusts your boy, Jimmy G.
Hey, this flew under the radar yesterday. Jimmy Garoppolo was discussing his offseason yesterday with the press, and he admitted something. He admitted something that kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah, I mean, they were in a conversation. Not much came from it, but they were definitely one of the teams in the conversation. Seemed like a good spot as an offense. That's tremendous skill players, everything they got going over there. Mike, being a great coach, had been with him in the past year, and it was discussed. But I'm glad the way things worked out.
That team that was discussed were the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel and company were in the conversation. Jimmy Garoppolo at South Beach, Miami. He ain't taking no L's. They could have finished 3-13, 3-14. He still would have been winning.
He's having a good time out there. That is interesting. I mean, that's not really surprising. I mean, Mike McDaniel, he's been grabbing everybody. He's been grabbing everybody for the Niners. He's trying to do, exactly what the Niners have done. You got the two running backs, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr. You got Sherfield out there. So that's not really surprising. But I mean, it would have been an interesting fit. And now you have two guys who, when you talk about the air yards, or is it the offense, or is it the weapons, or is it the point guard? And I think both these guys are probably a little bit underrated in that regard. I think Tua, being younger, is still trying to prove himself a little bit more. But I think Jimmy, I mean, let's not forget, I know Mostert tried to walk it back. Well, I was actually talking about my guy slinging it. I wasn't talking about Jimmy. Stop it.
Yeah.
What did Draymond say? Stand on your word, brother.
Stand on your word, brother.
Stand on your word. You said what you said.
You said what you said.
Okay. Now we're going to see about this action.
You see how he tried to walk it back, though? He said, whose wedding did he go to? Was it Jimmy's brother? He said he went to his wedding and whatnot. Jimmy gets shot. He gets shade thrown at him all the time. Look, Jimmy Garoppolo, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, which he didn't do last week, he got away with the interception. Ray-Ray McCloud, illegal contact. Hey, you bring it back. As long as Jimmy doesn't turn the ball over, the Niners will be in position. But this feels like a game. And by the way, we got news with Christian McCaffrey yesterday. Said he's playing. Said he feels great. So that's a big boost to this offense. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. These are weapons that Miami possibly hasn't seen yet. Cleveland has some weapons. Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper. They haven't played Buffalo since September. If the Niners are clicking on offense, this is a game where I feel like they could get back on track and get to that 30-point mark because Jimmy is not turning the ball over. Jimmy is playing good football. Now, Miami's going to blitz, and blitz even more. Can Jimmy beat the blitz? And I think he does well against the blitz historically as a 49er. Not necessarily this season, but historically for the 49ers, Jimmy's been good against the blitz.
And when you are going to blitz, it's good to have probably the best escape valve in football in Christian McCaffrey. And when you talk about, we haven't seen
Debo.
and Debo. So when you talk about, the Jimmy no throw, we haven't seen that because instead of the Jimmy no throw, you have, let me find Christian McCaffrey. Let's just get these 10 yards and keep it moving. And that's what they've been doing. So I think that if you want to blitz, you better find a way to cover Christian McCaffrey as well, because he will torch you all day long if you do that. And like you said, Debo as well. And again, these guys, are you ready to tackle George Kittle?
Right.
Are you ready to tackle Deebo Samuel? Because they are looking for contact. And I don't care what you said, Raheem Mostert. These guys, this man, George Kittle, was walking around with the Jimmy G for President, shirt on.
Right.
And you're talking about his guy. You don't think, and I know that they would never say this. It doesn't change anything. You don't think they're going to be running just a little bit harder? You don't think they're going to be lowering that shoulder just a little bit lower? Oh, okay. And coming at my guy?
And Miami's, they've been cocky. Jeff Wilson Jr. been chirping a little bit.
You know what? They kind of
Raheem
remind
Mostert,
me.
Chirping a little bit. Tyreek Hill, we know he'll throw up the deuces.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? He's always chirping.
Yeah.
They got some cockiness to him. They could get humbled on Sunday.
Is it crazy for me to say, simply because of the social media stuff, you know what, Bonte? They give me Grizzlies vibes.
Oh,
just
John
not
Morant.
not obviously not the rivalry, but just we're talking a lot.
Yeah.
We're right on Twitter right after the game. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he might have his phone on the bench with him.
Right, no
as
doubt.
quick as he tweets.
That's a good call because they haven't won anything. You haven't won a division title.
You haven't won anything.
We don't even know if you're going to the playoffs this season. Right, because that 3-game stretch coming up, Niners, Chargers, and Bills. Find me a 3-game stretch that's tougher than that one for any team in the league this season.
Yeah.
I mean, that is brutal. All on the road, and they're going to be staying away. I think they're going to stay in California after the game, do what the Niners do. Mostert's going to get popped. Now, he was doubtful last week. He didn't play. I heard Mike McDaniels Wednesday at his presser saying that Mostert's probably going to be a go. It's going to be a physical football game.
Yeah.
And he knows that Warner, Greenlaw, Bosa brings their big boy Pats to the table.
And I think that I believe I heard that one of the reasons Mostert didn't play last week, he wanted to make sure he was ready for this. He wanted to make sure he was ready for this.
He wanted this game. He circled this game. So NRG manifests Grizzlies not a real rival, but Taker said it's not Grizzlies vibes. It's Phoenix Suns vibes.
Oh, that's a slight to the Dolphins, in my opinion, because the Suns, they're out here working out after games.
Yeah,
Just
winners
stop
work.
It. Just stop
winners
it.
work.
Just stop
winners
it,
work.
man.
And my boy D Lee hitting the push-ups, man. By the way, Jimmy Garoppolo's knee, how does it feel?
How's your knee feel?
Feels great. Feels great, baby. No, it's coming along. Yeah, feel pretty good with it.
Feels great, baby. And I feel great about Jimmy, Allen. I feel great about Jimmy right now.
You know, I'm sitting here.
Shameless shout-outs in 10 minutes, by the way.
I don't know.
Shout-outs.
I don't know if it was last week or the week before, whatever it was. And I see on social media, I open my phone and I see you and Shasky with these apology notes and saying, "I'm sorry, Jimmy. I thought you were a game manager," and this, that, the third. I'm thinking, Bonte, what are you apologizing for? I mean, I feel like we've been on the same page with Jimmy. He is a good quarterback. He is limited. He is a good quarterback. Now he's got Christian McCaffrey. To me, I know his numbers are better. He has been playing well. Don't get me wrong. He's 2019 Jimmy with Christian McCaffrey. Let me tell you something right now. Christian McCaffrey had 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in one season with the Panthers.
He pulled the Roger Craig.
You know who his quarterback was?
Yeah.
Kyle Allen, who I just found out was in the league, was still in the league a week ago.
Yeah, he's playing with the Texans. That's right, backing up Davis Mills.
So you're sitting here apologizing to Jimmy for having what's the graphic we put up, Bonte? It's the it's a graphic from Marvel.
When he wins.
No, with Shanahan.
Oh yeah.
You got all the different rings.
Yeah.
He's
Thanos.
He's Thanos. With all the rings.
Yeah.
So how can you have all that, all the gemstones, and you're apologizing to Jimmy? This is what he's supposed to do. How many quarterbacks wouldn't be doing what Jimmy's doing?
Let me ask you something.
Come on now.
Down the stretch of the NFC, outside of Brady, who you taking over Jimmy?
Right now?
Yeah, right now in the NFC.
In the NFC. Ooh.
Oh, you taking Jalen Hurts?
Well,
Hurts playing at MVP level. You taking Dak Prescott?
So but to me, I don't know if that's a straw man or whatever the term is, because that doesn't change how I feel about Jimmy, though. There's just a bunch of mediocre quarterback play in the NFC.
It is a lot of mediocre.
And Jimmy's been playing well, not mediocre.
Jimmy's been playing well. One interception in the last 5 games? Last 4, I know. Last 5. I'm apologizing because I basically ran this guy out of town.
Shanahan ran him out of town.
I know that. But I can't blame Shanahan because the Roasters and the Jackals will get me. I have a problem with Shanahan, but I'm going to back up because some people think I personally hate Shanahan, and I don't. I don't hate Shanahan at all. But the standard we have for quarterback in San Francisco, the standard we have for wide receiver in this market, it's the same standard for head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Walsh, George Seifert, Mooch, Harbaugh. You want to go back to Dick Nolan? Fine. The standard is just as high for head coach as it is for quarterback. So I'm not even going to get started on that. But yeah, everybody's read Jimmy out of town. And I thought, just cut this guy. Cut this guy. What are you doing for Trey Lance? And the fact that we're here in 2022 talk about Jimmy, but I had to apologize to him. I said, you know what? You're playing well. I feel confident. I feel good about where his game is at. The team is rallying around him. Chris McCaffrey does help that outlet. I mean, thank God for CMC. Mm-hmm. But I had to apologize to him. I got to ride with him.
You know what I'm apologizing?
We want to parade down Market Street, right, Alan?
That's when I'm apologizing. When I'll apologize, I'll yell it to him, Jimmy, I'm sorry, at the parade. That's what I'll do. Not a minute sooner. We've seen this before.
You're not going to do it at the NFC Championship?
No.
You're not going to do it when they clinch the division title?
Absolutely not.
Oh man.
Look at the weapons, man. Who has a better?
This is the best set of weapons he's ever had in San Francisco.
I mean, they're ridiculous. What team has a better set of weapons than the Niners?
In the NFC?
There's not. I mean, in the NFL, there are not three teams with better weaponry than the Niners.
I like Phillies.
Okay.
When they get Dallas Goedert back, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, not bad.
Okay.
Cowboys, Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Schultz. I'll take the Niners' weapons.
I mean the Dolphins.
The Dolphins have good weapons, but I would take CMC over any one of their running backs.
Right. No, I mean, you got Bills and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bills and Chiefs. But my point is, the Niners are up there.
Raiders.
Stop that.
Renfro Waller coming back next week.
Are they? We've been waiting.
According to sources, Alan. Back to the Niners.
Let Spinoni get his time. He's feeling good. They beat Seattle, Josh Jacobs. Then they'll lose to the Chargers on Sunday in heartbreaking fashion.
That's what the Chargers do in Vegas, lest you forget last year.
Hey, listen. The Raiders will lose on Sunday. Spinoni won't mention the Raiders for 10 days. That's how it goes.
It's a vicious cycle.
I feel bad for him, man. I want to hug him right now. Shameless shout-outs, 5 minutes. Line them up, 888-957-9570.
Don't need your fake sympathy.
888-957-9570. Darren Waller might be checked out for the season. 888-957-9570. Shameless shout-outs. If you want to get on here, we'll read your texts. We'll read your comments on YouTube, the Xfinity mobile text line. Any shout-out you want. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm not trolling with the Jimmy love. I'm here for it. I'm back because at one point, Alan, as we get ready for Dolphins Niners, Joe Rose is going to join us at 8 o'clock. Joe Rose been covering the Dolphins for years down in Miami. I was the biggest Jimmy Garoppolo fan possible. When Tom Brady became available, I said, no. You don't need Brady. You got Jimmy. I was there. I was on that train.
Mm-hmm.
I was on that train, Alan. And things happen. You go down to the NFC Championship game at SoFi Stadium, and it's so bad that I'm walking around SoFi Stadium with Shasky's buddy Rocco. We see Charles Haley after the game. We got to pick up Charles Haley. He's so damn depressed.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Jimmy thinking, damn, we had no shot in that 2-minute drill. No shot whatsoever. Hell, Troy Aikman said it on the broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
The line of the year. When Troy Aikman, with 5 minutes left, said, you know, Joe, the Rams defense have done a good job of shutting down the Niners run game. And I'm afraid, keywords, I'm afraid it's going to come down to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Man. I mean, look.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid again. I have no choice.
No, you have no choice.
Spinoni, where's Michelle Shasky? We don't have a choice right now than to rally around Jimmy Garoppolo. So I'm going to rally around him. I'm not going to beat him up over the head because you shouldn't even be here, to be honest.
But I'm not saying don't rally. I'm saying I'm not the apology is what had me double blinking my eyes, trying to. What am I seeing here, man?
Well, this is what you're seeing. In the last 5 games, 1,228 yards, 9 touchdown passes, 1 interception. That's what you're seeing. I gotta apologize. I gotta stand back. That's player of the month stats right there.
Come on now.
Hey, Alan, you didn't like that. Hey, that's a player of the month stats there.
Those are fine stats. We're acting like he's and I get it. And I get it. The offense isn't set up for him to put up crazy numbers. To me, Bonte, again, and maybe it's not fair. I just feel like with these weapons, I think Jimmy's a good quarterback. So a good quarterback with great weapons should play pretty darn well. And that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And again, Jimmy without Christian McCaffrey, I don't know if he can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, nah,
but Jimmy with Christian McCaffrey, he can win a Super Bowl, and that's not a slight at Jimmy.
Hey, and that trade changed everything.
Everything.
You're absolutely spot on with that. CMC doing things with the Niners. Real quick on Tua and the quick explosive passing game. DeMeco Ryans had a couple quotes about that before we get to shameless shoutouts. DeMeco Ryans, defensive coordinator for the 49ers. We'll see how long that title holds up for DeMeco Ryans. Here's what he had to say about Tua and the Dolphins' quick explosive passing game.
Tua is very efficient at not only getting the ball out quick, but the accuracy and the way he delivers the ball, that allows the offense to be as efficient as they are. And you add the playmakers in that he has with 10, 17, 31, like those guys all have elite speed and big-time playmaking ability where they can take an intermediate throw and they can make a guy miss and go to the house. Not all offenses have that, and I think that's where this offense really lights it up, because each throw, it doesn't have to be a 50-yard bomb down the field. It can be a screen behind the line of scrimmage, and these guys have the speed and the playmaking ability to make guys miss and go to the house.
All right, here's what he had to say about Tyreek Hill.
His speed is just different from anybody you've seen in the NFL, right? There's fast guys in the NFL, but then there's Tyreek speed, and it's just on another level, right? Nobody runs as fast as him. Nobody can, the routes that he's able to run, right? He's like behind the line of scrimmage, and he's able to run deep routes from there. Like it's impressive, right? It's impressive, and it's a special talent that he has. No one else in the league has that ability that Tyreek has. His ability to separate. And not only is just his speed, but he is very strong. When he gets the ball in his hand, he is a very strong runner, and he can bounce off of tackles and make guys miss.
You better tackle, Allen. Mm-hmm. You better tackle this joker, because he's a problem.
He is. I mean, Olympic speed, man. Olympic speed.
Wow.
And
we saw it in the Super Bowl 54.
Right. And you know what? What's going to happen is here's the question. Obviously, they don't want to get beat over the top. The Niners don't want to get beat over the top. But the thing is, if you play too soft, right? I like these teams because they both play what I call backyard football. I was in the Turkey Bowl on Thanksgiving, Bonte, 7 touchdowns. I balled out. Did you see me? Did you happen to see me?
I saw you play them. Those dudes looked a little washed.
That was the last game, by the way.
Some of those dudes look like me out there trying to guard you.
That was the last game, by the way.
You got Alan Stiles, who's a former athlete, baseball player, Temple University, playing against some dudes working. Who's the last time those guys worked out? Your buddies.
Look, that was the last game. It didn't look as good. I should have had the videographer earlier. But, they both these teams play backyard football. Yep. The Niners get the ball into the hands of your best player. Let's ride. Let's do it. And the Dolphins do the same thing. That's why I think it's such an even matchup. So the question is, in terms of the Niners secondary, you don't want to get beat over the top. Mm-hmm. But if you're too soft in your coverage, they're still gonna
burn you.
They're still gonna get 10, 20 yards, on the slant routes and things like that. So DeMeco Ryans has some decisions. He likes to dial up the pressure on third down as well. You better get to Tua.
You better get to Tua.
Because we're on the morning roast, you're gonna get roasted.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't get to him.
That's the key right there. Just get to Tua. If Bolson wants DPOY, these are the games you got to step up for.
Exactly.
These are the games you have to go out there and dominate, like you did late in the game against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. You have to get Tua on the ground. You got to fluster him. He's not the most mobile quarterback. His footwork is great. I've loved Tua, but get to him. Get to him, and hit these guys. Even when they do catch it, you got to smack them. This is where Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner Jr. in the middle of the field, you got to set a tone.
Right?
You may get penalized one time. You got to set a tone against these young, quick, because we haven't even talked about Jalen Waddle, who's exactly as well.